Hi everyone, my name's Hani. I am a doctor from London. I make videos on skincare for people of colour. If you're new here, hi, and if you're not new, then welcome back. You might have realised it's been quite a while since I posted my last video, but the reason for that is I have a very exciting update. I'm very pleased to introduce Hue, which is the skincare brand I've been working on. So for context, I feel like a lot of you probably are here from the hyperpigmentation video, which was a video where I was basically explaining which actives you need to use and you need to layer to basically fix your hyperpigmentation once and for all. And I was just getting questions every single day, basically over the past 3 years, asking exactly which actives, how to layer them. And it's what I've been working on anyway, which is the idea that actually you shouldn't have to layer all of these actives. You should have an all-in-one product that contains everything you need. But I think also just the fact that people are finding it so difficult to find all of these actives and to know how to layer them, to me just made it feel very, very essential. And it made it feel like it was something really, really important to create a product for people of colour that they could use and know was made for them. The goal is one day I would love to have a skincare brand for people of colour. Like, I just keep saying it because I'm trying to manifest it. I want it to become a real thing. So I'm very excited to introduce Hue, which is the skincare brand that I've been working on. So before I tell you all about SUPRA-FADE, which is the hyperpigmentation serum we've literally spent the last 3 years working on, I want to tell you a bit more about Hue, the brand we've created. So it was really important to me to have a brand where actually ethnic skin is the forefront of all of our innovation and research. So that goes through everything. That goes through the ingredient selection, that goes through the concentrations, that also goes to even just the clinical trials we did. We made sure that we were recruiting people from our backgrounds, from our communities. So that is something that underpins Hue. But additionally, the other really important pillar is the idea that actually really, really highly functional, really scientific, really robust products can actually be beautiful, and they should be beautiful. And my co-founder, who's not here, is she's a visual girl, she's a stylist, she's an architect, she's an image maker, and she's brought all of that beauty into what we've created, because it felt really like inadequate to create something for people that are from my community, like my friends, my family, people who look like me, people from my ethnic background, people from, do you know what I mean, people, marginalized people from communities that I'm in, that I feel represent me, to create something that, yeah, it works, but it looks crap. Like, it was, for me, it just felt very like, this is incomplete. So it was important to have a product that actually, you shouldn't have to choose between the beautiful products and the really effective ones. That should be the same product. And that is really what I feel we've created. And I'm so excited to tell you more about the first product we've created, SUPRA-FADE, our hyperpigmentation serum. And so on that note, with Hue being an inclusive skincare brand, like it's a brand that is for non-white people, it just felt very incomplete to not be inclusive in the fullest sense of the word. Whatever our products are, we want to produce it in packaging that actually is suitable for people with access requirements. So we actually did focus groups and questionnaires with over 100 people with access needs to ask them about how we can create skincare packaging that can be used by everyone. So for us, obviously we're a new brand, this is our first product, but we want to continue that legacy of we create things that actually are responsive to the things that people want from us and the things that people need, and we're not dictating what skincare should look like. Okay, I'm so excited to tell you about the product we've created. I keep saying it took years and years, because it did. We had 30 plus versions before we could come out with the final version, because it was really important to me to create a product that reflects the kind of scientific expertise that I have, but also is, because we've learned a lot about in the process how a lot of brands will put actives in at marketing level, where you'll have maybe one star of the show, one active ingredient that is in the serum at the concentration it's meant to be at, but then loads of other things that are in at tiny amounts. And so it's like, yeah, you can put it on the ingredients list and now you can like market it as containing all of these things, but they're not at levels at which they work. And for me, like, just coming from a medical background, it just feels very dishonest. And I also think, come from a medical background, people are going to give me a credibility that I haven't necessarily earned. So it's important for me to respect the trust that people would naturally put in me. And so I just thought, I'm not going to create a product that doesn't work. And I'm not going to create a product that has actives in there that aren't actually at the level, they're not at the concentration they're meant to be at, to be like having the function that we're saying it's having. So that's why it took so long to formulate. We had many, many attempts because it was just very difficult to stabilize a product that had so many troublesome actives, troublesome to stabilize at concentrations at which they work. So, and we finally got there, and the serum is beautiful, it's wonderful. I've been using it obviously before everyone else. Sorry, they gave me I had the internal plug. I've been using my lab samples, but the serum is out and I'm so excited to tell you about everything it contains. Coming straight in with azelaic acid. So azelaic acid is twofold. So it's working on your hypigmentation, but it's also working on your acne. It was really important for me to have at least one active in there at a good concentration that is working on acne as well as hypigmentation. And that's because acne is actually why people get hypigmentation a lot of the time. Do you know what I mean? You get a spot, it leaves a dark spot, that's now why you need a hypigmentation serum in the first place. So for me, it just felt very poorly thought through to have a serum that doesn't contain at least one active ingredient that targets the cause of hypigmentation as well as the consequence, which is the hypigmentation itself. So the next active is alpha-arbutin, which is, as you know, it's a derivative of hydroquinone, but it's a safe derivative of hydroquinone. It doesn't cause any skin bleaching. And it also works on the same pathways that target, excess melanin synthesis, which is why you get hypigmentation. So we additionally have kojic acid in the serum. Now this is a big one because everyone was asking me, how can I find kojic acid? How can I find kojic acid? Because it's really difficult to find. There's not many serums that contain it. And the few that do actually don't contain kojic acid. They contain kojic acid dipalmitate, which is a salt of kojic acid. So because it's a salt, it's a derivative of kojic acid, it's actually not really got much evidence to support its use against hypigmentation. But with kojic acid itself, a lot of people are using Koji-san, which is a Japanese soap. I couldn't in good faith recommend that to people because there are so many fakes on the market to the point where there's actually like guides online of how to work out if you have a fake or not. So for me, it was really important to include this active in there at a safe level. And it's one that is very, very potent. But again, we've included it at a level where we know it works, but at a level where your skin is able to tolerate it with the other profile of the antioxidants and anti-inflammatory ingredients we've included in there. Next active, there's a lot of actives, I meant it when I said that, is licorice root extract. So this is a plant extract and we chose it for two reasons. So one is it has action against discoloration and hypigmentation, which is great, but it is also very, very soothing as a plant extract and has anti-inflammatory properties. And that was really important for us because we want to create something that, yes, it's very potent. It really does work on dark spots and hypigmentation, but actually it's also gentle enough that you're able to use it every single day. I don't want to create something so strong that you don't know where to put it in your routine. You don't know, you have to be really cautious. You can't go outside if you've got it on. We wanted to create something that, yes, everything is in there and it's very potent and you can just use this as your all-in-one, but actually it's been formulated such that you can use it every single day without having to worry about your skin being super, super sensitive or anything like that. So the licorice root is a dual action brightener, but it's also obviously got those anti-inflammatory effects. The next two actives are really, again, just to help your skin repair its barrier and to also enable the tolerability of the serum to your skin. And those are the allantoin and the centella. So very, very soothing plant extracts that will help you be able to use this every single night. And then the final active is N-acetylglucosamine, which is a precursor of hyaluronic acid. So I'm sure you've all heard about hyaluronic acid. It helps increase the skin's elasticity and hydration. And again, it's another component that is in there to improve your skin's kind of reparative properties, its ability to kind of withstand the potency of the actives that are working against hypigmentation and discoloration. So that's 4 actives directly working on hypigmentation, 2 actives that are anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, soothing agents, and 1 to support your skin's internal strength. So to boost your barrier, to support your skin's kind of health, elasticity, and hydration. So our serum following a clinical trial has actually been classified as mild for skin and kind to skin. And that's because of the profile of so many things we have in there that are actually soothing your skin as well as working directly on hypigmentation and the acne that may be causing it. So because of that, we have classified it as a dark spot night serum. You can use it every single night, and that's because of those, it's working on the dark spots. We've got the actives working on the dark spots, but we've also got the actives that are enabling you to use it every single night. So that's basically a summary on SUPRA-FADE. I can't even get into how difficult it was to formulate it. One big thing is azelaic acid is a suspension, so it doesn't dissolve, it just floats, and it's kind of being held up by other things in there. So even just sorting that out was that was a year gone, and then adding in all the other actives was really, really difficult. But I genuinely like the texture, the feeling. It's a beautiful serum. That's all I'll say. And in our minds, the way we've developed this is your kind of one and done hypigmentation. You can use this and move on. Now, I do want to explain, I think a lot of people are going to probably ask, why is there no niacinamide in this? Well, niacinamide is something I've spoken really highly about before, but a large minority are actually sensitive to niacinamide, where they get mast cell degranulation. That's basically where your body has an allergic response when you use it. And that was actually the case for me as well, in the sense that I could use niacinamide really well, and then I started getting really bad rashes when I used it. And that is actually quite common. It encourages your mast cells, which are the cells that contain it's a white blood cell that contains histamine, which is the allergic reaction molecule basically. And it makes your white blood cells that contain this histamine to release it, which is why you kind of take antihistamine. So you're basically having an allergic reaction. And because that happens to like a large minority of people, like it's not a small group of people, it didn't make sense for us to have an inclusive product that not everyone can use. So when we formulated this, we made sure that we haven't got any allergens in there. There's no sensitizing ingredients. There's no fragrance. It's alcohol free. We've tried to make it as fungal acne safe as possible. There's nothing in there that really triggers fungal acne. And all of those things are in mind of actually, we want as many people to be able to use this as possible. And that was actually even for like, being so real, I'm not going to make a serum I also can't use, and I have extremely sensitive allergic skin. And I did a 120 allergic panel just to see exactly what allergens I might react to and people might react to, and made sure those weren't in there. So when I say this was a labor of love, like I really mean that. I think also vitamin C, maybe another one that people might wonder why it's not in there. The thing is, vitamin C is so unstable. Like it's probably one of the most unstable ingredients you can include in a skincare formulation. And so by the time you receive it, a lot of the vitamin C probably would have degraded. So it didn't make sense to me to include something that actually it's not going to be at its maximum impact level by the time you receive it. Similarly, the evidence for vitamin C on ethnic skin is somewhat limited. And so because of that, every single thing in here is something that has been curated and selected because we know it's going to work in people with deeper melanin-rich skins. So it didn't make sense to include vitamin C. So I've tried to be really transparent about why we've included everything, because I feel like a lot of you have been on this journey with me, and I can't diminish or discredit that at all. Like that has been the reason I have felt the need to keep going, because I know that so many of you have been so supportive, said so many nice things. And so actually this is, you know, all of that love and support we've tried to reproduce it in the serum we've created, and I really love it. And I wouldn't ever put something out that I wasn't 100% happy with. I wouldn't put my name on something I wasn't 100% happy with. And I'm 100% happy with this. I don't think there's anything I would change about the formula at all. And I hope you guys love it as much as I do. So coming from a scientific background, it was really important to continue that legacy of science within the knowledge production and the formulation and just the brand ethos as a whole. So I would say those are the two pillars. So this idea of like really rich, robust scientific grounding for all of our products, but also this idea that beauty is inseparable from that. You can have really beautiful, really stunning packaging that is also really effective. And so in line with pillar one, which is the science, of course we were going to do clinical trials. We needed to make sure that this product worked. So we did clinical trials and user trials, and the results were really positive. So first things first, we want to make sure that everyone can use the serum, because actually, while we are saying we're a brand that is designed for POC, it's not a POC exclusive brand, it's a POC focused brand. So everyone can benefit from using SUPRA-FADE. It has so many good actives in there that are good for dark spots in people of all pigmentations, but also so many actives in there that are so good for your skin health, that are so good for your acne. So we want to make sure that everyone can use it, but actually we're saying that we're focusing on, our emphasis is always going to be on skin of color and people of color. And so on that basis, when we did our trial, we recruited 67 people and we made it so that 80% of them were people of color. So Fitzpatrick's types 4, 5, and 6. And that to me feels like a great reflection of like the brand ethos as a whole, where actually everyone can use this, but we're focusing on our community and people that look like us. And yeah, the results from the clinical trial were actually really positive. So I'll just tell you some of them. So at 2 weeks, participants found that their skin tone was visibly more even. At 4 weeks, participants found that their dark spots were obviously reduced. And by 6 weeks, participants found that their complexion was more even. They agreed that their skin was visibly transformed, and they agreed that there was a dramatic improvement in their hyperpigmentation. So yeah, we were really pleased with the findings from the clinical trial. And we noticed that actually a lot of brands don't seem to do trials in their hyperpigmentation and dark spot serums, but obviously with our background and with the things that are important to us, it didn't make sense to not do that. Like, we want to be as scientifically robust in all of our processes as possible. So that is a primer on SUPRA-FADE. I hope you love it as much as we do. It is available now at madeforhue.com. Made for Hue is also our strapline. So because we just, you know, it's a fun play on words. Like, it's made for you, it's made for Hue, it's made for skin of color. And so yeah, I'm so excited to show you what we go on to create. So if you want to know more about kind of the brand story, the brand vision, future products, we actually are also recruiting for, we're not sure how this is going to look yet, but we want to have a way of directly communicating with like people who buy Hue, to ask them, to get them to give feedback on new products. And we want to create a bilateral conversation where you can tell us what products you want or what things you really need. So we are making a Hue YouTube channel, which I will link here. And if you follow that channel, you can get more updates on kind of what we're doing, communicate with us directly, and also learn more about the founder stories, because I'm not going to get into this now. Maybe we'll get into this over on Hue TV. I don't know if it's called that. Wait and see. But we raised capital, we raised investment to launch Hue. And we'd love to share more of those stories and actually tell you more about what was happening in the 3 years, because I keep saying it's been 3 years, but I haven't told you guys anything about what's happening in those 3 years. I don't know if this channel's the right place for it. Maybe the Hue channel is. But if you would like to learn more about kind of those things, and even give requests for certain things you'd love to hear about kind of the building Hue process, I think that would be a great place for us to start sharing some of those stories. We are on social media at madeforhue.com. Our products are available at madeforhue.com. And thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for watching. I know so many of you have bought the product already, and you've sent so many lovely messages, and I can't thank you enough. And I'm so excited to share more of Hue now that it's finally out and in the world. Thank you. Bye, everyone.